everybody. Welcome to Takeoff with John Clark, and we've got a really good matchup with your Eagles this week. Eagles and Ravens. Hey, you never know. Could be a Super Bowl preview. So let's bring in the man who has won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. This is the Torrey Smith Bowl here. Good to see you.
Nice seeing you. How's everything?
Everything is great, and you've been seeing the Eagles rolling here, 7 straight wins. What do you think about this game for the Eagles' perspective against the Baltimore Ravens? The Eagles are actually underdogs for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I think it's a big-time matchup. You know, when you're watching as a fan of the game, this is one that you want to see. Two of the better quarterbacks in the league. Offensive, two teams that want to establish the run and be physical at the point of attack. And there's a lot of playmakers mixed in on both sides of the ball. So it's extremely exciting to watch. And, I've been watching them both like a hawk this year. So watching them come together and compete is going to be a good one in Baltimore.
And this is pretty cool. You're going to be raffling off some tickets to the Eagles-Ravens game for your Level 82 and Giving Tuesday campaign. We're going to get into that. I got to put you on the spot right now. Who is your MVP in the NFL this year? Of course, a running back hasn't run it since Adrian Peterson 17 years ago.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. I still don't think it's close. I think Saquon's done a phenomenal job. He's one of my favorite players in the league. But, when you watch, I tell people, watching Lamar is like watching LeBron. Like, no matter what happens, just because of how he plays the game, he will always be in the MVP conversation. Yet, this year, his numbers are better than they were when he's already won it. So it's like, I don't think it's going to be close. We all know things lean towards the quarterbacks anyway. But, this Ravens team without Lamar Jackson is a completely different team. And I think everyone knows that. But what Lamar's doing, people look at the numbers and then you watch the game. There are plays that he makes during the game that you will never see anyone else make, or you haven't seen people make. But it looks so routine because it's him. So that's why I think he's the MVP. I don't think it's close. And again, everyone cheats and leans towards quarterbacks anyway, but Lamar has the ability to run and throw. And that's kind of a cheat code when it comes to trying to be the MVP of the league.
Yeah, and Vic Fangio today, the Eagles defensive coordinator, said there's really only one other guy that has played the quarterback position like Lamar Jackson, and that's Michael Vick. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, Mike Vick's my favorite player. I'm from Virginia. I wanted to go to Virginia Tech because of Mike Vick. I played quarterback my whole life till college. I wanted to be like Mike Vick so bad. But my man, Lamar Jackson, is better than my favorite player, which is crazy to say because Vick has done some of the most special things we see on that field. But again, watching and covering this team on the Baltimore side, I see Lamar do something every single week where I'm like, this is Patrick Mahomes or somebody, it would be blown up like no other. But to him, it's just a regular routine play, and it's kind of crazy to watch him play ball.
For the Eagles defense this week, and I've been looking up the stats with the red zone, man, I think the last 3 games, the Ravens are perfect, 8 for 8 in the red zone, scoring touchdowns, and they're the best red zone team in the NFL. When you have Lamar being able to run it and throw it, what do you do as a defense in the red zone in that area?
Man, I think you just have to make them one-dimensional, right? It's obvious the team wants to run the ball, and when you see what the Ravens are capable of, they obviously have Derrick Henry. They didn't bring him in to try to continue to throw the ball in the red zone, even though Lamar has been very effective in the pass game. The goal is to make a team one-dimensional. If you force them to throw it, yes, you have to deal with the most dangerous element of Lamar running and scrambling, but the reality of it is that's a lot easier than losing at the point of attack and letting someone like Derrick Henry weigh you down. So I think you just have to make them one-dimensional. Stop the run and force them to throw it into some windows on the back end.
So you said Lamar would be your choice for MVP, and it's not close. You said Michael Vick is your favorite player ever. You said you love Saquon and what he's doing, and you're a fan of him this year. What is it about him that makes him so special?
I think it's everything. I talked to my son about Saquon the other day. When you talk about playing the game of football, just as a person, as a teammate, top tier when it comes to Saquon Barkley. It's the way he carries himself. He's very selfless. He's about the team. He wants to win. And I think he's the perfect person to watch, especially myself being around so many young student athletes. Now it's like, look at someone who's only worried about winning, who's only worried about being a good teammate, and watch the success he's having. And I think that's what you see with Saquon Barkley. And on top of that, with Saquon having the ability to run the ball, his strength. Obviously he lifts weights, right? His lower half is tough to deal with if you're going to tackle him down the field. But I think the fact that he's so dynamic, running the ball and passing the ball, and when you add in that Eagles offensive line, I think it's a cheat code. The way that pair came together, and shout out to Howie Roseman for being the one to make it all happen.
Yeah, I mean, can you believe the Giants actually let this happen? Now, not only is Saquon gone, but Daniel Jones is actually gone too.
That's funny. I think that sometimes the guys who make the decisions, they think with their pockets and their little metrics they use sometimes, and they don't look at their eyes. Your eyes tell you that Saquon Barkley is one of the best players in the league, regardless of what team he's on. And you let him walk over pennies at the end of the day when you see what he's capable of. Now, I will be completely transparent and say, hey, if you're running the business, are the Giants a better team with Saquon? Yes. Is he going to be the reason why the Giants win the Super Bowl? Probably not with their situation. Clearly, they had bigger fish to fry with their quarterback situation. But you don't let good players leave the building, especially ones that you've helped grow and mature. And then you let someone like Howie Roseman get him, and you have this Eagles offensive line that's led by the best offensive line coach in the game, and Coach Stoutland. I mean, what are you talking about here? It is ridiculous what he's been able to do. Records are being broken in Philadelphia, a team that's consistently been able to run the ball, that's consistently had some of the better backs in the league. And you're going to watch records just get tore down, and you're not even there yet. It's not even, the season is not even close to being over. So I think it's crazy what this offense is capable of. I think it's crazy what Saquon is capable of. And as a fan of the game, you have to love what you're seeing.
Yeah, I love the fact that his 302 scrimmage yards that he had Sunday night in LA is more than the Giants actually had as a team that day. And then over the Eagles' 7-game winning streak, his 302 yards is more than the other team has had total against the Eagles. So that's pretty epic. Those are like high school and college numbers, 500 scrimmage yards over 2 games.
I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, it is unbelievable what's happening. And again, from a fan perspective, it's so easy to be like, oh, they're running the ball well. No, this is not normal stuff we are seeing here. It's truly special. So enjoy what you're watching right now with this offensive line, Saquon, and how well this team is playing.
And Torrey, from your experience winning the Super Bowl with the Eagles and that great offensive line that you guys had, and you mentioned Jeff Stoutland, when you watch the running plays that the Eagles run and all the zone, outside zone, whatever, and the pulling and the athleticism that they have on the offensive line, is it really a thing of beauty to you knowing what you knew with Jeff Stoutland and the O-line you had in 2017?
Man, it's truly art. I have so much more respect for it now, even more than I did as a player, because now I'm coaching, so I actually pay attention to what the offensive line has to do. Before, I only knew what I needed to do in the basic parts of protection. Now, to see the stuff that they're doing, how they're navigating, how they're manipulating the defense, how physical they are, how athletic the linemen are in the positions they're putting them in. I mean, some of the plays, the creativity is unbelievable. I mean, talking about the gold standard in this league for what you're able to see an offensive line do. And it's not an accident as to why they're successful. It's not an accident as to why they're able to keep rolling, even without, one of the best centers to ever play the game, no longer being in the huddle. Coach Stoutland deserves all the flowers in the world for the job that he's been able to do. And I actually told someone earlier, I said, man, Coach Stoutland is such a good coach that no matter who's coaching the Eagles, and I love Coach Sirianni. This is not to wish him anywhere. I think he belongs. I think he's the man for this team. But no matter who's here, they're going to want Coach Stoutland because he's that good of a coach. And I think, again, we're all able to witness it and watching it again from the outside looking in from a coaching perspective. It is unbelievable what's going on.
Hey, celebrity cook Steve Martirano is bringing his Italian-American cooking back home to Philly, where it started. Enjoy Martirano's Prime at Rivers Casino and Steve's famous meatballs with Sunday gravy, prime steaks, and more. So make reservations for Martirano's Prime on Open Table. I've been to the one in Fort Lauderdale. I'm glad it's back in Philly. I got to put you on the spot then. Who has had more of a effect on their team, Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley?
Ooh, that is a really good question. But I would actually lean towards Derrick Henry in this case, because the Ravens offense has consistently been able to run the ball, but the Ravens didn't have a single guy that they could trust to go and get those yards. Philadelphia had Swift. Right before there was kind of musical chairs a little bit, but I think they've been able to have that one star that kind of can help the offense get rolling. Since Lamar Jackson's been there, you had Mark Ingram who had 1,000 yards one time, but before that, it hadn't really been anyone else. So I would give the edge to Lamar, to Derrick Henry being there and what it's meant for the run game with Lamar, and also because of the way Lamar plays, it puts the defense in a bind. Jalen's a running quarterback, but the way Lamar runs is completely different in style, and the way they use him to run is completely different. So I would give the edge to the Ravens and what it's been able to do for them, and with Derrick Henry being there in that offense.
And this is really such a great matchup because you've got the two best running teams in the NFL with quarterback and running back. And then Derrick Henry's only 67 yards behind Saquon, even though he's played one more game. So who do you think will end up with the rushing title this year?
Ooh, at this point, it's tough to go against the Eagles and Saquon. I mean, what Saquon's able to do is he's breaking big runs every single week, and he's able to play against some teams who he's had their number as well. So coming down the stretch, they're going to continue to rely on him. I'd like to say that Saquon has the game-breaking ability to get those 1 or 2 longer runs. That's going to be the difference in that 100, 200-yard difference between the two at the end of the year.
And it's pretty wild because he has over 900 yards in the second half. So I think it's 939 rushing yards in the second half. And if you just put his second half rushing yard statistic, he would be 3rd or 4th in the NFL amongst all running backs. So when you were with the Eagles, could you see in the second half the defenses, especially in cold weather, they don't want to tackle that guy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, what you're able to witness is what everyone who watches football as a fan, as a player, that's what you want to see, right? The goal is to stick with the run no matter what, knowing that it's going to wear it on the defense. And then in the second half, you're going to be able to run the ball the way you want to. Well, this Eagles team has been able to do that and then some. So I think it's huge. That's the key to their success so far this season, just being able to consistently run it. It's so easy to get off script and abandon it. And they've done a great job this year just remaining committed to it. And I think it's hard not to. When you have a guy like Saquon, you can point to any of the losses earlier in the year, and Saquon would be a huge factor in how well was he used, right? And that's simply just being consistent with it. When you have a guy that's a playmaker, it's very easy to get bored with the 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards. Well, Saquon's that next one may go 40. You just never know. So, again, I love what this team has been able to do up front. And Saquon's been wearing the offensive line, who deserves the credit, has been wearing teams out, and Saquon's been taking full advantage of it. I mean, there's been holes he's run through untouched, and he's going full speed. And I don't know who wants to get in the way of that, especially as it gets colder. So the Eagles have done an amazing job.
Yeah, now you as a receiver, obviously receivers want the football, and you guys are blocking or running routes every time. And what do you think of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, the way they've handled this, the Eagles basically becoming a running team? Because you could legitimately say either of those guys could be a number 1 receiver, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think they are both number 1 receivers. And the bigger thing is they both want to win. It's that simple. When you know that I may not get the ball 10 times each game, right? But as long as we're winning, great things are going to happen. You watch them. They're blocking downfield. You watch a running back on a big run. Obviously, the offensive line has to do their thing, but really it's going to take a receiver blocking downfield. That's the difference between 15 or 50. And I think you're able to see that with these guys. They're selfless. They want to win. That's just kind of how they play. And honestly, the more you block, the more you do for your team. It seems like the ball has a magical way of rewarding you and finding you. So I think this team understands that. Everyone's locked in, just wanting to win. Understand that, hey, it may be a running game, or it may be a game where they're shutting him down, and now you're going to have the opportunity to shine in the passing game. But the reality of it is you want them to be able to run. The more the team can run, the better the team runs, the more it opens up things with play action. And you have the receivers that can take advantage downfield. So they're not worried about it. Their numbers are going to come, and more importantly, they're focused on the bigger picture.
And AJ's still getting his 100-yard games. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. That balance is tough. You have a guy that's someone has to catch the ball. You're not going to run the ball. It's not youth football where you're going to run it every single play. But, when you're able to go, and now they have to respect Saquon, and that linebacker steps up. Now you have A.J. Brown running that slant right behind him, which you know he's going to get a couple of times a game. He makes a living off of beating people up outside. So I think it's a situation where it's working out best for all parties involved. But the best part is when those play action plays hit and that safety gets nosy and they fall for that fake to Saquon Barkley, the ball's in his belly there. Jalen pulls it out, throws the ball downfield. I mean, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, and you know from play action, and when you get that one-on-one, you see it's man coverage. We see Jalen and AJ, they just know we're going to. And I think AJ, I saw the stat that he has been perfect this year catching the deep ball on those play action plays. For a receiver, what's that like when you're grinding it out on the ground, you're getting all those running yards, and then you see you got man coverage, and you know it's coming to you?
Oh, there's nothing like it. Even better is when you're running down the field and you hear that crowd roar and you know that ball's coming up. So it's really cool. That's one of the things I definitely missed, that rush of the game aspect of just the anticipation of seeing the look, seeing the coverage, knowing you're one-on-one, and you're probably going to get a shot. But again, the teams are paying for it, and it's only going to continue to happen. The better the run game is, the better the play action game will be. And also makes it a lot easier for Jalen Hurts as well. Bigger windows, it's easier to see. Guys are open making plays, and you're able to allow your playmakers to go out there and do what they do best.
Yeah, the Eagles have it rolling, and you're facing a Ravens defense that is one of the worst teams against the pass. I mean, they're giving up 277 yards through the air. So do you think this could possibly be an Eagles game where they feature the receivers a lot more than the running game, or you think they stick with what is working so well right now?
I think you still try to establish a run. You don't lose your identity, right? But you understand that there are going to be some passing opportunities there. The reason the Ravens pass defense has been struggling so much is because they haven't been able to generate the pass rush. Guys are up front, they're rushing forward, they haven't been winning as much as they would like to. Even when they've been blitzing, they haven't been winning as much as they'd like to. And so because of that, it's allowed big play opportunities for the other team. The key to it is, and what they're going to do is similar to what the Eagles want to do, right? We want to rush you with our studs up front and then drop 8 on the back end, or drop 7 on the back end and make you be decisive as a quarterback, right? That's the plan for everyone. That was our plan to beat New England when I was in Baltimore and in Philadelphia, right? You want to try to just get to them, but have guys back in coverage. And so I think the same thing exists. They just haven't been able to get home, and quarterbacks have been able to take full advantage of it, making plays downfield on time and also off script by extending plays.
So I'm sure you saw what happened with your former teammate and your Super Bowl champ, Brandon Graham, when you saw that in his final season. Now, he has said maybe he'll come back, but it was his final season. What were you thinking when you saw and heard that he's out for the year and he tore his triceps?
Yeah, man, my heart hurt for BG, man. I love BG like a brother. He's one of the best teammates I've ever had, one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life. On the field, off the field, doesn't matter. He's a special human being. And to have that happen to him is tough. We all know it comes with the game. But you just know how this team has been building, rolling, right? And he's an integral part of that. He's older, but he's been making plays out there. And the energy he brings, I don't think I've ever played with a player that is as passionate as him with the talking as well, right? Ray Lewis was passionate. But BG is going to he's going to talk the entire time. He's a one-on-one when it comes to that. But it's tough for him. You definitely feel sorry for him. But he's still going to be there. No, that's the beautiful thing about it. It's an injury that he obviously had to get it fixed, but he'll be there to be able to support the team. They'll be able to feel his energy. I wish he would have been able to kind of be on the field and finish on his own terms, but who's to say he doesn't change his mind, because he still looks good. He's still rolling, still having fun, but he's earned the right to play the situation however he wants to, and just praying for a speedy recovery for him.
And of course, your Super Bowl year, you had a bunch of injuries with your quarterback, your left tackle, Carson Wentz, Jason Peters, Darren Sproles, Jordan Hicks. You had a bunch of injuries. Did you guys kind of galvanize and say, you know what, let's win it for these guys who can't be out there with us?
Oh, man, it's always next man up, The crazy thing is, and it sounds crazy, but when people get hurt, you don't even have time to think about it, right? You have to go on to the next game. You have to finish it. It's just another opportunity for the next player, but you definitely want to finish it for those guys. You understand that each and every year, the team will never be the same. And because of that, you want to truly go out there and play for each other. But it's different when it's someone like BG, or it's different when it's someone like Jason Peters, who given their heart to this team and they played for so long and they haven't had the opportunity to get the big one. Now, BG has one already, but you want him to get another one, right? And then go out on his terms. So the team will be playing hard for him. When you're a leader like that, you don't just magically disappear, right? The respect is still there and his presence will still be felt as he continues to lead in a different way.
Jason Kelce told a funny story about they were out there for the coin toss and BG was talking trash because it starts right away. And BG was talking trash with one of the defensive linemen for the other team. And Kelsey's like, yo, wait a second. I got to block this guy.
Oh, yeah. Listen.
Yep. Do you have any stories like that?
Absolutely. It was the Giants in the playoffs. I was out there as a captain with Malcolm and was Chris there? I can't think of Malcolm, might have been Chris. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, he didn't stop from the beginning, from the minute we walked off the sideline, during the huddle, while the refs talking to do the coin toss, BG is going nonstop. Ask Saquon. Saquon didn't even know how to react. He's just like, bro, he's dapping him up. He's just letting him have it. He's talking to the defensive lineman. He said, I don't even play. I don't even have to go against you. Like, BG was talking crazy. I mean, it was the wildest thing I've seen. But, yeah, for anyone that's interested, look that one up. It was versus Giants in the playoffs. I know exactly what Kelsey's talking about. But I'm glad that I was able to witness that because I was crying laughing during the coin toss and after, in every moment that I think of it, because out of all the huddles I've been in, out of all the coin tosses I've been in my life, I've never seen someone go nonstop from walking from the sideline to the coin toss and then back. He was on one. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen on the football field.
That is great to hear. The energy of BG, and it's nonstop. So tell us about this pretty cool opportunity for Eagles fans and, of course, maybe Ravens fans, but raffling off a pair of tickets to this Eagles-Ravens game for your Level 82 Foundation, and it is a Giving Tuesday campaign. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. So Giving Tuesday is an opportunity for many nonprofits around the country to raise money for their causes. We are no different. We do a lot of great work in Baltimore, and we even have do a lot of good things in the Conshohocken area where my wife is from. So we're looking to raise money for what we do with Level 82. And I figure what better way to raise money for those that don't just want to give because they want to support what we're doing. Okay, we can bribe you with 2 tickets to go watch the Ravens versus Eagles play. There's the raffle tickets are $35. All you have to do is donate. You automatically enter for $35. If you donate $100, we will double your tickets to 6 tickets, and we'll pick a winner on Saturday afternoon. And from there, give them the 2 tickets and then go and enjoy the game. But for me, it's a big deal to raise money for this cause. I'm extremely passionate about giving to the community. I always have been. But it's really cool to be able to do a raffle, which we've done them before. This one's a little different, to have 2 teams that I have a great relationship with, a great history with. And I'm extremely honored to be there to watch those guys compete. So you go to level82.org. and donate there. Or if you follow me on social media, Torrey Smith, WR, Torrey Smith, WR. I've been posting all day, and I'm not going to stop all week. So you can go ahead and check it out and support. But I appreciate the folks in Philly and the folks in Baltimore who continue to support our efforts in the community.
You got it. Level82.org. You've always done such a great job in the community. And I think it's pretty fascinating because you said your wife's family, they are from the Conshohocken area, Eagles fans. So what's going on in the family, the extended family this week with Eagles and Ravens?
Oh man, it's a cool situation because I feel like my family doesn't lose regardless. We really do have great relationships with both, and that's obviously a very political answer, but I can stand by it. When I go to pull my rings out the safe, I have one from both, so you can't tell me one's different than the other. They both shine and they both have my name on it. So I'm excited about it, watching them. I'm excited about seeing the people. Think about like Big Dom, who I talk with all the time, who's like a big brother, the head of security there at Philly, Coach Sirianni, who I've never actually played for, but he always shows me a lot of love, and I'm able to see him when I come up. Howie Roseman, obviously the guys on the team, the few left that I still had the opportunity to play with. So it's really cool to be there and witness it. They're in Baltimore, so I think it's easier to say. I've heard people say, well, you should just root for the home team. since you're home and you live in Maryland. I'm like, no, it's not that easy. I want what's best for both teams. And I'm just looking forward to watching two of the best teams go at it. Two of the best organizations in the league that I've been able to see firsthand and can stand on that, go out there and compete. But there's nothing like those two organizations. I mean, there are very few that do it right. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens do it right. And I knew that from my first week there.
Where do you keep your rings?
I keep them away in the safe where my daughter doesn't steal them. I didn't know where my rings were one time for a month.
Really?
Yeah, I had them. I wore them to an event. I don't really wear them that often. And then my daughter decided to put them in her purse. And I'm looking, panicking, like I couldn't find them for weeks. And I said something to my wife. I'm like, where are they? And my daughter was like, I know where they are. She pulled them out of her little purse. So
did she take them to places in her purse? Was she like going to some stuff?
The thing is, at this point, I don't know what she did with them, but she went directly and got them. My daughter's 5. So that's very dangerous to know a 5-year-old had Super Bowl rings. But she went right in there, pulled it out of her purse that was in the back, got it. I saw her with it, which makes me a little nervous, but it was always interesting there. But I knew the first week there, talking to Malcolm, talking to Kelsey, I was like, man, this has the same feel as it did in Baltimore. I'm like, this is what it's supposed to look like. Talk about leadership at the top, talk about the right of veteran leadership with the players, talking about a great mixture of younger guys and talent, and a quarterback that can play ball. And so you're looking at the same thing. Philadelphia continues to do that, which is why Philly is one of the few teams each and every year that stands a chance at being a Super Bowl contender, and you can truly believe it. A lot of people say it. They work it all off season, but there are very few that really fit the mold. And Philadelphia is one of those organizations. Baltimore is one of those organizations, and I'm thankful that I was able to represent both of them.
Yeah, it is awesome that you have a ring from each, a Super Bowl champ with each. If I could put you on the spot, who has the better chance of making it to the Super Bowl between these two teams you won a Super Bowl with?
I think the easier path is in the NFC, to be completely honest. I think the easier path to get to the Super Bowl is in the NFC with the Eagles, but there will be no happier person than me if there is a Ravens-Eagles Super Bowl. That would be awesome to watch. But I do think the easier path is in the NFC. I mean, the AFC, you got to deal with Josh Allen and the Bills. You have to deal with Patrick Mahomes. And maybe the Steelers offense will wake up. I'm still not sold on their record, even though they beat the Ravens with all those field goals. The Ravens beat themselves. I think the AFC is just a little bit harder in my opinion. So the Eagles continue to maintain, continue to grow and improve. And Jalen plays and leads the way he's capable of. I think the Eagles have the better chance of getting there.
Hey, we could have the Torrey Smith Super Bowl, huh? That would be amazing. Bring those rings back out.
Oh, they'd be on all week out there.
I appreciate the time, Torrey. You're one of the great dudes. And it was so cool to have you be a big part of bringing Philadelphia their first Super Bowl with your wife being from Conshohocken and all of her family. That's still, they still must thank you for that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Seeing the families in the different restaurants that we frequently visit up there, who I'd been going there for probably about 6 years before that. They barely said anything to me. The minute I wore the green, it completely changed. So it's really cool to see the great people up in the Conshohocken area, and I always want the best for them.
Yeah, that's cool. You're forever here in Philly. That's awesome. And this is going to be wild. So where are you going to watch this Eagles-Ravens game?
Oh, I'll be there. I actually do
good.
I do a pregame show for the Ravens. So I'll do the little pregame show, and I'll check out the game and watch it just like a fan.
Yeah, this will be a good one. We will see you there on Sunday in Baltimore. We really appreciate the time. And once again, it is level82.org. Help Torrey's organization. It is Giving Back Tuesday. And of course, you can win 2 tickets to the Eagles-Ravens game. That is huge, because this is one of the best games I think you're going to get this year.
Oh, easily one of the best games to get this year. So, and again, I'm excited to watch it. Remove my love for both organizations. As a fan of football, these are 2 of the best teams out there. And, you don't really have the opportunity often to see them for a small team.
And the quarterback, running back combination on each team, it is going to be wild to see what happens, especially with the running games. All right, Torrey, appreciate your time, man.
All right, you have a good one.